So in today's video, I want to talk to you guys about self-care, what it is, what it isn't, and where you should be spending your money on it if you spend money on it at all. Self-care is one of those things that came out of nowhere and kind of like La Croix, you may or may not know if it's actually for you or not. In reality, it is for everyone. The way it's going to look is going to be very dependent on you as a person, but in general, we should all be doubling down on our self-care game, particularly in 2020. Like, haven't we been through enough? Oh, unfortunately, companies, as they do, have kind of co-opted the self-care movement, decided to slap that on all types of things, and the misguided belief that you can exchange some money and therefore, boom, you have self-cared. And if we are not careful, see what I did there? We could very easily fall into a trap where we are expending energy and time and money on self-care that isn't actually moving the needle in any measurable way to benefit our lives. We talked about this on a Patreon live stream the other day. It was a really great discussion. If you guys want to join the Patreon, we do live streams every month. I think it's about 3 to 4 a month. There are unedited videos over there. We got a book club going on, like lots of good reasons to come hang out in the Patreon. But if you do want to be a part of the book club, side note, we are reading The 4 Tendencies by Gretchen Rubin. You can also be a part of it in the Facebook group. All of that will be linked down below with the rest of my social media platforms. So come hang out with me on Instagram. Let's be friends. All of the things. So self-care has been really heavy on my mind lately, particularly because we are coming up on the holidays, which tend to be the most stressful time of year for a lot of us. We're coming up on the end of this godforsaken year. We're probably feeling a little tired by now, I think. We're getting into the colder, darker months of the year. Some of us might suffer from a little bit of seasonal depression and feel the need to kind of take that extra time and extra care of ourselves. So in reflecting on this, it kind of got me thinking about how we treat ourselves versus how we treat other people. And what I mean by that is when we think about caring for others, let's say you've got a puppy, an animal, any type of creature you love. When you think about caring for that animal, you think about giving it its medicine, getting its fresh air, taking it to the doctor, feeding it, watering it, getting it exercise, like all of these things that we know are good for it. And the dog might not want to do any of that. Dogs, if they could have it their way, would eat pepperoni all day and lick their butts. But you're not going to let your dog do that because you care about it and you're going to do what is best for the dog. Now, I think it is safe to say that some of us don't even treat ourselves as well as we treat dogs. I mean, to be fair, I treat my dogs better than almost anybody in the world, so that definitely doesn't always track for everyone. But the point is, we have to remember that the same amount of care and attention that we give to other people is the exact same amount we need to be giving to ourselves, and pretty much in the exact same way. Now, journey with me back to earlier this year. We were fresh-eyed farm girls right into 2020. The sky's the limit. Things are looking good. And we all know what came around March. And around that time when everybody was getting locked down, I vividly remember seeing all these posts about people kind of saying, and hold on, take this journey with me. I'm going somewhere with it, I swear. I kept seeing all these posts of people saying things like, now is not the time to be starting a new workout regimen. Now is not the time to be trying to grow your online business. Now is a time to just do nothing. And I get the sentiment behind those statements. The idea is basically, you're going through enough. Stop thinking now is the time to go chasing big goals. It's okay to just rest, recharge, and figure out your next move. And absolutely, I agree with that. However, I did also see a lot of posts that I felt were kind of, almost enabling. And it depends on how you look at this, okay? I believe, as I said with my dog analogy, that self-care is not always gonna feel like good in the moment, but it is good for you. So the kind of posts that I was seeing were like, don't worry about working out, eat a whole pizza, drink a bottle of wine, sleep till noon. And I know they were probably being hyperbolic, but if you look at the comment sections, people were like, yeah, all about that life. And this is where I think we get a little bit wonky with it, especially as I aforementioned, because companies are slapping self-care on anything. And if we truly believe that we can justify any behavior that we have as hashtag self-care, then isn't that kind of the same thing as enabling ourselves to take on less than desirable behaviors? And while I agree that if you are having a truly hard time, hello, I did this year for sure, that the prescription to feeling better is not always doing things like hustling and grinding. We all know it's not. But the truth of the matter is, the solution is also not sleeping till noon, eating a whole pizza by yourself and drinking a bottle of wine until you pass out on your vibrator on the couch. Like, I think we all know that might be fun, but that's not actually self-care. Self-care is not always going to feel good in the moment. In fact, I would argue that it probably shouldn't feel super good. I mean, to an extent, I do have exceptions to this, but what I mean is self-care to me is a verb. It is a big, fat verb. It is what you are doing. It is your routines. It is your boundaries. It's your health and how you maintain it and improve upon it. It's your mental health and how you maintain it and improve upon it. It's your financial health and how you maintain and improve upon it. Anything that is going to actually improve your life, that is self-care. And the reason I make it a point to distinguish between your life and someone else is because we can be, particularly women, so quick to think that all our time, energy, and effort is better spent on caring for other people because we're just kind of taught from a young age that that's our role in life, I guess, is just to be the community. Let me fix all y'all shit, girl. You know what I mean? But it's not true. And anyone who tries to make you think that you are being selfish or somehow you are indebted to them and obligated to care for them over yourself, that is a manipulative person, and you need to GTFO. Because anybody who truly loves you, who truly cares about you, wants to see you thrive. They want to see you doing things you want to do. They want to see you feeling good about yourself. They want you to be happy. So take some inventory of the people around you who are discouraging you from actually doing self-care things. I'm talking about your girlfriends who are getting mad at you because you don't want to go to the club with them on Friday. You're going to stay home and work on your finances or meal prep for the week. Again, it's not necessarily the things that are going to feel good, the things that are fun, the things that are Instagrammable. And I feel like that's where we're getting into trouble. And that's why it has become so easy for companies to market self-care to us. And why, again, if we're not really taking inventory of what this kind of movement is intended for, we again could just feel like we're self-caring all day, every day, but nothing is really improving. You can't sheet mask your way into self-care, I guess is basically my point. And truthfully, it's not even just that companies are putting out products geared towards self-care. We have entire companies that their whole shtick is self-care, like Goop and Poosh, which are basically two sides to the same overpriced coin. This idea that, like, in order to truly be self-caring, you have to eat all organic, sustainably raised things cooked in a cast iron Dutch oven, forged in the fire of 1,000 suns. Like, no, that's not what any of that is. And once you kind of can assign this sort of like medicinal or wellness thing to a product, people will easily justify paying ridiculous amount of money for it, even if, once more, I'm going to keep repeating this, it's not actually moving the needle in any way. So I want you right now to pull your phone out and Google self-care. When you do, you will see a myriad articles about self-care. Doctors, mental health professionals, all types of people are talking about this. But after you get done doing that and kind of peruse it and see how much information you can find about self-care, I want you to Google self-care shopping. And then just click on the shopping tab on Google, scroll your way down, and see how many products are being advertised right now under the guise of self-care. Beautycounter.com actually boasts itself as the self-care shop. Now, don't get it twisted. We are going to talk about self-care in terms of like hygiene and that type of thing. I'm getting to that. But in general, I'm going to go ahead and say, unless the money that you're spending on your self-care is going towards things like therapy, medical care, again, getting your finances in order, healthy, nutritious food, I don't think you need to go self-care shopping at Beauty Counter in order to achieve that whatsoever. And I think it's kind of duplicitous of companies to try to take their products that they've had for years. They've had makeup and face masks forever. Never thought to brand it self-care until we started talking about it. And that's because that's just what they do. That's marketing in a nutshell. If they see a chance to make $1, they're gonna. Now, as far as the kind of products I think make sense to buy under the guise of self-care, I do believe hygiene products, bath products, skin care, hair care, you have to do those things anyway. So you might as well make it something enjoyable if you can afford it. However, again, do not assume that if you don't have the kind of money to spend on like a $30 bottle of lotion from Lush, that your self-care routine is therefore inadequate. It's more the intention than anything. So I thought I would let you guys know a few of my favorite free ways to practice self-care in your everyday life. The first one is something I have been talking about for about a year now, and I'm very passionate about this. Curate your social media. Curate it to be something that is bringing value to your life. Now, what does that mean? I kind of have a school of thought that when it comes to your social media, you should not be coming across anything that does not make you love someone else, love yourself, or teach you something. If you do not feel one of those three ways about any given piece of content coming across your phone on your social media feeds, then that means you are choosing time and time again to expose yourself to messages or pictures or people that are kind of lowering your vibration a little bit. And I know that sounds really woo-woo and stuff like that, but I do believe in those things. And we spend a ridiculous amount of time on our phones and on social media not to be actually enjoying it. And sometimes we can be so used to the shitty feeling that something like social media gives us that we don't even consider the fact that like we can just check out of this. You know, we don't have to follow people from, high school and from our first job because it feels polite to do if every time we see their face on our social media, it makes us feel unhappy in any way. Like, screw that noise. It's yours. You have to interact with it constantly. And over time, it does have a huge effect on your mental health. So curate that thing and curate it aggressively and do it consistently. It costs you $0, but you will find over time that when you go to get on your social media feed, what you're seeing is actually making you feel better about things and not worse. Now, I'm not saying put yourself in an echo chamber. Obviously, there's nuance to this, but you know what I mean when I say the images and people and things that you're seeing on social media that aren't making you feel great. The second thing that you can do for free 99 is meditate. And meditation is one of those things that we hear about all the time, but it is the most, studies have shown it is the most beneficial thing for our mental health. And let me clarify what meditation is really quick, because a lot of people think that it is just clearing your mind of all thoughts entirely, and that's not true. It's more about just being in the present moment, because so much of our time in life is spent either stressing about the past or worrying about the future, and we're not actually here looking around at what's right in front of us. And usually what's going on right in front of us is at the very, very minimum okay, and oftentimes pretty freaking great. I will leave my favorite 5-minute meditation down below. I am not one of those people who can meditate for 10-20 minutes. I do it for about 5 minutes a couple of times a day. You can meditate in line at the grocery store. It's really just the practice of observing one's breath. And it's not gonna feel organic at first, and you might not even feel any benefit at all. I don't know if that's true. I even from the very first time I meditated, after I was done, I was like, okay, I see what all the fuss is about. But meditation is free. You don't have to get a fancy app to do it. You don't pay $0. Tons of free meditations on YouTube. The next thing that you can do that is free for self-care is organize something. And I know a lot of people, this is going to sound really strange and some people are not going to agree with this, but in general, I would say one of the best acts of self-care that you can participate in is cleaning in general. I know some people hate it. I get it. Like, particularly if you grew up constantly having to do it. But if you can remove kind of this negative connotation or association with cleaning and focus on the overall benefits and calming abilities of a clean space, I think it will kind of help you switch your perspective a little bit. I can only speak from my experience, but I feel attacked by my stuff when my house is messy. I hate it. In fact, if I'm already stressed out and I walk into the kitchen and there's like a sink full of dishes and stuff everywhere, it's going to send me over the edge, as dramatic as that sound, because people, we're den people, we're nesters, and our environment has an effect on us. So having clutter and stuff everywhere, never knowing where your shit is, constantly have to clean dishes before you even cook a single meal, like developing a good cleaning routine, a house cleaning routine, things of that nature, I think are excellent free acts of self-care that will have net positive benefits on your life. Like, you cannot underestimate how much of an act of self-care it is to get your shit together. It is the ultimate form of it as far as I'm concerned. And like I said, no face mask set that you buy on Sephora is gonna do for you what simply cleaning your damn house will do. I promise. Now, I don't want it to get confused. I am not trying to say that, putting on a nice outfit, curling your hair, doing your makeup is not self-care, because I think it is. I genuinely do. In fact, whenever I'm feeling my worst, if I just do a little something, even if it's just change out of my night pajamas and put on a pair of day pajamas, a little bit of concealer and run a brush through my hair, it is helpful. It is, there is something to be said for the act of looking better and feeling a little bit better. Now, your entire sense of well-being should not be contingent on the way that you look, but it is part of it. And I say all this because so much of the time, whenever I make videos and I try to talk to you guys about consumerism and watching your money and making good choices, I inevitably will get comments in the comment section of people kind of being like, well, I have 3 kids and I work 2 jobs and buying makeup is my self-care. I am not trying to take anything away from you, girl. Like, I get it. It's just that, is that the only way we're self-caring? I certainly hope not. Side note, my best friend Jacqueline has a cat named Karen and we call her self-Karen all the time. Don't spend your money on self-care. Spend your energy on it. That's all I'm trying to say, particularly in this extremely stressful time that we might find ourselves in. Understand and know that the whole world around us will always kind of be crazy. There is nothing we can do about what's happening out there. There is a myriad things we can do about what's happening here and what's happening here. And self-care is the absolute key to getting that shit under control. So don't think putting it on your credit card is going to get you any closer to that, because it's not. It is also important to know that self-care really manifests itself most effectively in small intentional routines and acts every day. It doesn't need to be these marathon spa days or anything like that. It's just little things you do every day. If you have the choice to scroll on your phone for 20 minutes and look at people on Instagram, or if you have the choice to go outside barefooted and get some fresh air for 20 minutes in total silence and really be alone with yourself, that's a self-care choice you're actually getting to make. You get chances all day, every day to make self-care choices. And we really need to be looking at ourselves and asking, what are we choosing in these moments? What are we assuming is self-care? It is not always gonna be the thing that feels good in that moment. Now, all this being said, I would actually like to do a video about self-care kind of hygiene routines. I love watching those videos. I don't know what it is, man. I think it's just because I love showering so much that I even enjoy listening to people talk about how they take showers. That is so weird. I know, but it's true. So if you guys want me to do a video about actual self-care products and routines that I enjoy, let me know down below. I do have some. I'll throw in some, affordable or drugstore or DIY options for whatever I bring to the table. So let me know if you're interested. And as always, all my gifts for the patrons. As I aforementioned, we did a live stream all around the subject of self-care, and I enjoyed it like always. You guys, I truly love the live stream so much. We actually had a new person come join us in the live stream the other day, and it was so funny because the minute we all kind of started interacting with this new member, every single one in the chat was like, girl, you gonna fit in just fine. Like, we just have so much fun over there, and I would love for you to come hang out if you're interested. Sorry if this video was all over the place. I'm trying to get out of the habit of writing like scripts, because that's what I usually do because I have ADD and I can't keep my mind on track, but I don't know. I think I did okay. Let me know in the comments. Anyway, I gotta get out of here. I hope you guys are having an amazing day. Check the down bar for links to all my social media platforms, and I will catch you in the next one. Bye!